Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's a great honor to speak in front of you all today. Now, many of you would have heard of thetippytop.com blogs, vlogs, all about entrepreneurship, empowerment, tech, and that's culminated in today's session about thinking digital. Now, we only have about 10 minutes, so I'm not going to spend that time giving you tools that you could actually use, but rather I want to focus on giving you a step change in your thinking. So come with me on the journey and let's see if I'm successful. So first up, Parkinson's Law. Now, many of you would have heard of the law before, and most of you would have experienced it more times than you care to admit. And what does it say? Well, basically, the work will expand to fill the time allocated to it. And so that's often linked to Pareto's principle, 80-20, most of the work gets done in the first 20% of the time and vice versa. Now, why is this important? And the reason is that a lot of strategists use this tool to basically realize different outcomes. So what do I mean by that? It means that if you say planned for a holiday that was going to cost £1,000 and you constrain the resources, you'll be surprised at the innovation that comes out of that process. So if we say you can only spend £500, then you start to see people saying, well, how can I do this? Can I book further in advance? Can I do a group booking? Can I do it through a discount website? And that's where the innovation comes from. Now, why is that important? Well, I want to focus you on this book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Now, don't worry, before you quit your day job, the 4-hour work week is not possible. How do I know? Because I've tried it and I worked about 20 hours extra a week for about 10 years to figure that out. However, what's really good about it is that it helps you understand how to think digitally and outsource yourself. So if you're trying to create a side hustle and you've got a full-time job, there's just not enough hours in the day. And the book helps you automate processes, streamline things, introduce tech that helps you accomplish that goal. Now, you'll probably still end up working 40, 80 hours a week. However, you're going to be so much more efficient if you use these principles. So it really will help you get far ahead in business. And I'll come back to this shortly. So innovation, let's talk quickly about innovation. There's obviously a very famous quote saying that necessity is the mother of all invention. And I'm not going to dwell on it because it's, been flogged to death. But over the past, 18 months, even in the first 6 months of COVID, we saw 5 to 10 years of innovation in that short space of time. And why? Because we had to. And, things that people thought they weren't able to accomplish were just done overnight. Remote working, there was a big resistance that all of a sudden it was possible. And then when people saw the productivity benefits and the cost savings, it just had even more momentum. Now, why should you think digital? Well, because of AI and the rise of the machines. Now, hopefully it doesn't end up like a scene out of Terminator, which I actually watched the other day, and I encourage you to watch because it's just uncanny how many things they predicted are actually starting to materialize. I heard a very interesting quote the other day that any startup with, that says we're powered by AI or we use AI, it's going to, not really have an identity going forward because everything is going to be powered by AI. Now, should that be scary? No, it shouldn't. Why not? Because machines, can only do things that machines can do. And what you need to do is allow them to do what they're good at. And what I want you to do is to be more human. And what do I mean by that? I want you to focus on doing things that only you are good at. Don't compete with computers in terms of crunching numbers and processing spreadsheets and big data. You will always lose. However, human touch, nuance, emotion, connecting with other people, that's the real stuff of magic. So, and I guess in the future, what are we going to be? We're going to be, work's going to be a hybrid of machines and people working together to achieve ultimate efficiency. Now, I want to tell you a little story about sales. We invest in a lot of startups, and the startups that are successful, what they have is they have evangelists in the organization that they're trying to sell to, who help put their product in front of the decision makers. It does not matter how good the tech of the startup is. If they can't get it in via people, the startup will ultimately suffocate and cease to exist. So what does that mean for you? Well, think about yourselves. You're in the prop tech industry. That is a massive industry. It covers everything from leisure, hospitality, smart tech, buildings, ventilation. It's a very big sector. But ultimately, there's a lot of startups that have created solutions to problems in your industry. And all you need to do is just open your mind and be receptive to those entrepreneurs, because they are trying to actively sell into you. And if you just say, right, you've identified my problem, I'm going to help you implement it. Now, again, should that be scary? Well, a key skill of the future is going to be technology implementation. And even if you outsource yourself from your current job, look at it from a macro scale. In 20 years' time, you are going to be at the top of the organization if you are good at doing this. So I really encourage you to do this. Use tech as much as you can. And as I say, that frees you up to do the more human parts of your job, which is your USP and where your value comes from. And so, in conclusion, I want you to start thinking digital and start outsourcing yourself. Start thinking along the lines of the 4-hour work week. And that is a very empowering thing to do, because what it's going to do is going to free you up to, think about the future, to delegate more. It's going to allow you to innovate. It's going to allow you probably more free time. It's going to improve your quality of life. And most importantly, it's going to improve the outputs of your organization and ensure that it's future-proofed. So I want to thank you for having me today. It's been a great pleasure. I hope that gives you a subtle shift in your thinking. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of conviction as to why you should use technology. My handles are at the bottom there, the Tippy Top blog, across all channels ranging from Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You'll find me everywhere. Please do connect and follow me. And of course, my website there, thetippytop.com. Thank you. Now, I see we have a question from the audience, and it's, what should we focus on? I guess if I had to give you one focus, it would be to take action. And why do I say that? It's because we operate in a meritocracy, and the world is really in the power of your fingertips, and such a overused example, but it really is all in here. You can just start a blog business. You can do anything just via your mobile phone. You don't need permission anymore. And because we're in such a meritocracy, eventually you will get that value back, and probably many-fold, whether it's from your current employer, whether you start a new business, whether it's from a future employer. And that's the reason I'm sitting in front of you today, because I took action and I started vlogging, and one thing leads to the other. And in terms of my 4-hour work week stint, I learned more about business than in business school. And I've become almost, an expert in my own right in digital marketing. And there's no course I could have done that would have given me that same experience. Even if I worked in an organization, I would have struggled to replicate the experience and seniority that you can get from your own activities or your own organization, if you like. So really just get out there, embrace something, and go full steam ahead. Thanks again for having me. I wish you all the best. Cheers for now. Bye.